All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand?
Rightio legends, Cast Chronicles, and we're back again with another video. And so today I thought we'd answer another question again. And so that question is by Astra686 one day ago. And that was, have you ever seen prison guards agreeing to fight one-on-one with inmates, and does it happen? All right, so let's get into it. But before we get into it, if you guys are here and you're loving my content and you haven't already subscribed, please take this time out to jump down there and shoot me a subscription. That would be absolutely fantabulistic. And if you hit that bell icon, you'll never miss any of my clips again. I am the Chaos Chronicles, and we talk about everything Australian prison crime and they're alike. And all right, well, let's get into it. So I guess, to say it doesn't happen would be an absolute lie. Does it happen very often? Probably not as much now as it used to, but are there still like screws that will like definitely go into the cell with you and have a punch on with you? 100%. And I've seen this happen multiple times in my prison life. And some screws are not bad fighters. Let's be honest, and most of the TOGs, the security screws, they're pretty good at what they do, and most of them, if you offer them out, they're 100% going to drop their belt and they're going to go in the cell with you, um, yeah, like I've seen it happen a fair few times. Um, Generally, the thing is, right, generally when someone offers a screw out, they're gonna do it like in the belief that they think that the screw's not gonna bite back, or whatever you want to call it, or not say, yeah, right, come on, let's go. And so, like, I've seen so many times people trying to be heroes and offer screws out, the wrong screws, and the screw said, come on then, get in the cell then, you fucking hero. And go and then go in the cell, and then the crim refuses to go in the cell, which is quite embarrassing. If you ask me, it's embarrassing for us crooks that are there at the time. It doesn't look good on us. If that was me, like if I was going to offer a screw out, like, and we're definitely going to throw down. There's no two ways about it. And if it went the other way around, like if a screw ever offered me out, like I am never, ever, ever gonna pass up that opportunity to throw hands with a screw. And and same with the police. I have multiple assault police charges. I've taken this upon myself. And when I say this, I've not only just assaulted police because I felt like assaulting police. I've assaulted police when they've assaulted me first, and I've decided to retaliate in trying to protect myself, like countless a number of times. Like I can tell you times of me being hogtied by handcuffs on my ankles, handcuffs on my hands behind my back, and then my feet and my hands handcuffed with a third pair of handcuffs in between, while all the cops are absolutely kicking the shit out of me, and then continued to kick the shit out of me. Like this went on for hours and hours. And I don't know if you've ever seen my video on bronzing up. And if you don't know what bronzing up is, it's when you cover yourself in, human excrement, or if you will. And, I felt like that was the only way, like, I was losing teeth and everything. So I was like, this is the only way I could get them to not stop me, was to bronze up. And, it's something I'm not proud of. Is it something I've done? Yeah, 100%. And did it work? Did they stop bashing me? They did, So, like, I guess it's the same with the screws too. There's a lot of boys that are doing time right now that would never ever pass up that opportunity. If a screw offered them out, and yeah, they're definitely going to be throwing hands. No two ways about it. And yeah, I can actually tell you this one time. That's also pretty embarrassing. So I didn't see this happen myself, but like, if you're in the prison system at the time, you know of this happening. So there's this certain screw at Port Phillip, and if you've ever been to Port Phillip, you'll know the screw I'm talking about. So like he's got kind of like long blonde hair, and he looks like the lead singer from the Commitments or something. Like you very rarely see him, but like if you've done Port Phillip and you've done a fair bit of time there, you definitely would have seen this screw, and he does look like the lead singer from the movie in the Commitments. But anyway, so yeah, as the story goes, on this particular day, this particular prisoner had been, alleging that this commitments screw was giving him a hard time, and so, he's going around telling everyone that I'm gonna smash the screw's head in, and that's something you probably don't want to go around saying either, because like if I hear you say that, and most of the boys that are doing time and that have done time hear you say that, they're going to make you like stick to your word, and they're going to make you see that you do what you said you were going to do, and aren't just all talk and bullshit. So um but yeah, like, so yeah, this person went around saying that they were going to go and, you know take the screw out that day. And so when it came time for this screw to come around and do the buzzer check, so if you don't know what a buzzer check, so they do every single cell has an intercom in there, and it's for emergencies and stuff. So like if you're locked down at night time, that, believe it or not, the units don't have staff in them all night long or at all. They only have screws that walk through every single unit and whatnot. So um, but yeah, so anyway, every single cell has one of these intercoms in it. And so anyway, every single day they have to do a intercom check and walk around to every single cell, press the buzzer and say, hello, yes, it's working, to the people that are up at the control desk, just to make sure that they're working. Because there's been, especially at Port Phillip, there's been a few times where, people have buzzed up for help, medical help at night time, and actually ended up, not going home that night, and not going home at all, because the lack of medical assistance. There's a pretty well-known case that if you Google it, it was an asthma attack, and it took hours and hours for the screws, let alone the nurses, to get there, and the person ended up dying, and he knew he was dying. So he left a note, and he was taking notes the whole night of every time he buzzed up. He was writing down what time he did it. And so it kind of unearthed the screws, and just shows that, um, yeah, not all of them take note of the buzzers. And especially at night time, like you've got a snowflake's hell chance in hell of getting anything brought to your cell at night time by the screws. But anyway, we've gone a little bit off path. But anyway, this prisoner had waited for this officer to go around and do the buzzer checks, and he has said, "Come on, then, let's get in the cell." And this screw is known for going into cells with other prisoners, and I guess this guy was only a new prisoner, and it was his first sentence, and was, kind of gangstering on a bit and trying to prove to the boys that he was something that he definitely was not. And so anyway, they've gone into the cell, and it's a well-known thing that, like, if this is a situation that it's only you and the screw that's going in that cell, he's never ever going to go into the cell with you and three of your mates, even one of your mate. It's just not safe for them, so they're definitely not going to do that. So as the story goes, and this is something that absolutely happened. I just didn't see it. So um, all the people heard was a lot of banging, smashing, like screaming, you fucking dog, this, that, and then a lot of like, you know, noises, and yeah, so the people on the outside could definitely hear that someone on the inside was getting their ass handed to them, but they just couldn't hear which way it was going until the door come flying open, and the crim come running out of the cell screaming, "Help, help, 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 help," and saying that the officer's bashing me, the officer's bashing me, and yeah, and then in the end ended up taking this officer to court and everything, and I believe this prisoner ended up in protection over this, even though he did lag on a screw. A lag's a lag, and it's just unacceptable, and to be honest, like that right there is fairly embarrassing for the prison population as well. He had a chance to go in there and whoop a screw's ass, and he didn't. He got his own ass handed to him, and then he went screaming across the unit, screaming for help, saying that the screw was bashing him, blah blah blah. Took the screw to court. I don't know how it turned out, but the last time I was in, which was in 2021, three-quarters of the way through is when I left. This court case was still going through, and I remember I would bump into the screw and I'd ask him like, "How's it going?" He's like, "Yeah, this little dog's still going to court and still standing up and still saying that that I bashed him." And I think that's absolutely crazy, and it looks shameful for us, because that would be the biggest win for the screws ever. Like, yes and no. But yeah, Astro, I hope that answered your question for you. Does it happen? Absolutely, it's something that does happen. Um, and especially at Port Phillip, like I've mentioned this so many times in so many videos, there was no cameras at Port Phillip until 2018. So screws were and could and were getting away with literal, you know, the hard M word, unaliving people and stuff like that. So fights and people getting hurt by the officers was more prevalent then. And obviously, it's a lot harder now. Every single prison has cameras, every single corner you look around. So it's a lot harder for these things to take place. But do the screws know exactly where the blind spots are? Yeah, they do. Just like we know exactly where the blind spots are. And exactly like if we were going to take a screw out, we know the exact spot to do it as well. But the flip side to that is they know the exact spot where if they were going to attack you, they know exactly where to do it too. So like, yeah, does it happen? Yeah, it does happen. It just doesn't happen as often as it did when I first started coming to prison. In the very early at the start of the 2000s, and prison was a very different place back then, and an even very very different place at times before that, but they weren't my time. So yeah, I hope that answered the question well enough for you. The do screws and crooks go in the cell and have it out one on one? Yeah, 100% they do. And yeah, it just doesn't happen as much as it used to. So there you go. I hope that answered it well enough for you. And if you guys are watching this and you've got a question that you want me to answer with a video, smash it down there in the comment section. Even if I can't get to it with a video, I do my utmost best to answer every single question. It's just getting harder and harder to answer every question, but I do get around to it. And yeah, chuck your question down there and I'll do my best to answer it with a video. And I will see you guys in the next video. Don't do drugs and crime. You won't end up in prison. It's as simple as that. We out.